begin with a reign of terror. A few murders here and there.
Hello, children of the night. Welcome back to Blood and Guts HHN. With me, as always, Mad Matt. How's it going, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic as usual, Evil Adam, because as you know, may not be like solid information, but we have some good HHN 34 roundups with some rumors. Haven't really covered the code names yet, so a little bit of information that we can delve out. But how about yourself? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, rumor season, I really don't care a lot for it, as everyone knows.
Right.
Just because it's to me, it's he said, she said kind of stuff. But, you know, and I'm also not too thrilled on what we've got so far, but let's go ahead and dive into it.
Yeah, just kind of like you precluded to there, Adam, like friends and fiends, take all this with a grain of salt, because we're not saying that any of this is confirmed. We're not even saying this is what we think is going to be there. This is just the rumors that we've heard spitball through the grapevine.
Right.
A lot of them's coming from HHN Legacy and some of the other friends of the community as well as thrown these out there. So like I said, if you think that these rumors are true, let us know in the comments. If you'd rather see something else, let us know in the comments as well.
And before you kick it off, I just want to add one thing too, is keep in mind that we do not still have the official spec map volume 1 or volume 2.
Just
now we
Christmas
got that
one.
teaser at Christmas, but I'm not personally counting that, and I know a lot of people aren't, just because, to quickly sum that up, it's a lot of just Christmas related fun items that they kind of did just for like, here's a Christmas thing for fun.
Right.
So, yeah, I just want to throw that in before we kick that off there.
Absolutely. So without further ado, the first thing we'll hit off with is code names.
Y'all hear that? We're using code names.
And it looks like this year they're going to go with a floral arrangement.
Yep.
So we have the first code name is Daisy, and according to the what's the word I'm looking at, the permits.
Yeah, the permit they've dropped. Yep.
This is going to be in tent number 4, which is where Goblin's Feast was last year.
So that's a new one.
And it's going to be Daisy.
Yep.
Then we have Snapdragon, which is going to be in 23A, which is where Monstruos was last year.
Okay. Yeah, that's a stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a soundstage.
Soundstage, exactly. Yeah. Then we got Violet, which is showing at Soundstage 23B, which is where Ghostbusters Frozen Empire was.
Okay, yeah.
And then we got Poppy, which is in Soundstage 22, which is where Quiet Place was. Which I think, when I look at those permits, I don't think that they had the Ghostbusters one right, because it wasn't next to Monstruos. But anyway, it's just what I'm showing the list where they had listed. But
yeah,
we had a Quiet Place.
All of this could still change anyway. So.
Exactly. And then here's the kicker, though, that everybody's got their ears perked up. We got Poinsettia, which is in Soundstage 25, which is the first time this soundstage has been used since HHN 29 with Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things, and I think was Poltergeist in that one? I think it might have been. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it hadn't been used in a while. So
absolutely. So moving right along, we got Jasmine, which is in our favorite one, the Fast and the Furious ride.
Oh boy!
Which is where Major Sweets was last year. Yep. So be interested to see what comes of that one. Then we have Carnation, which is in Tent 1, which is where Museum was last year.
Yep.
Then we got Lily, which is in Soundstage 24B, which according to the HHN Wikis, where Triplets was last year.
Okay, yeah.
And then we got Iris, which is going to be in Tent number 2, which is where Slaughter Cinema was. And then rounding out, we got Tulip, which was in Tent 3, which is where the Monsters house was.
Yeah, the new tent. Yep.
Yeah. So all we got right now is the 10 code names. Rumors are flying around there that we may see possibly 12 houses this year, because the one soundstage was not listed. I can't remember off the top of my head which soundstage is missing, but one's missing. And then like the HHN sent out that cryptic tweak about a dozen.
I think I might be wrong, but I think the one that's missing is one of the two, which was where Dueling Dragons or Yeti Campground Kills, because those are whatever number A and B, and I think that we're missing one of those.
Like where Insidious was.
Right, correct. Yep.
So, like, not really getting. I mean, a lot of people are making suggestions with the flowers, like I said, but as we know,
and I mean that's just
rumors.
That's spitting in the wind. I mean, you can't really do nothing with that. So.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because I know last year when we heard like the it was the desserts.
The dessert.
Some of them made absolutely no sense with what house they actually went with. So.
Right. Yep.
Well, moving along then, this is not really exactly HHN for Orlando or Hollywood, but we do have the new Universal Horror Unleashed that's going to be opening in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They got the listed date as August 14th, and it's going to have 4 houses, which is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house, the Bloomhouse Exorcist house is going to be there, and Scarecrow Reaping. Yep. And then Monsters house. So pretty good. 4 houses to choose from. Pretty good experience there, and they got 2 price tiers. They got the $69 ticket, which is like a one-time entry into each house, and then you have the $99 entry where you can go through as much as you want throughout the day.
Yep.
So
it's going to have themed bars, themed restaurants, and from what I'm understanding, and I might be wrong about this, is they're going to have kind of like the little areas in between the bars and restaurants will have characters. So it'll be like a scare zone inside the building, which is pretty cool. I'm curious to see how this thing comes out. Yeah, I know that for a fact that at one point, and this is off on a tangent, but Eli Roth back in the day had a haunt in Vegas, and I can't remember what it was called. It was called Eli Roth's Goratorium or something. Something along those lines. And I don't think it did very well because, of course, it's still not there. Right. But we'll see. Maybe Vegas is ready for a year-round haunt, but it's definitely going to be interesting.
Well, the one good thing about it is, people are traveling all over the world and all over the country to get to HHN, whether it be in Orlando or Florida. So they do have that name recognition going for them. So I'm like you, I kind of want to see how this goes. Obviously, that's further away west than I'm willing to travel right now. But if I'm ever out that way, that's probably something I am going to try to do. But who knows when that would happen.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
So last but not least then, we'll move on to the latest round of the rumor mill as we talked about. Yep. And this is the houses that like HHN Legacy and some in the community are kind of spitballing out to throw out with those code names. And like you said, the Christmas map that come out, they're trying to tie it to that. Even though I'm like you, I don't really put a lot of credence into it.
No, it's just a big conspiracy.
So as we said earlier, friends, big grain of salt with these houses. But here's the rumor houses that we have so far. And like I said, there's no way we're going to have them all. So that's why part of the reason I say take it with a grain of salt. Yeah. But we've heard Beetlejuice. Right. And I heard that, like I said, we heard that like back in December. I really ain't heard much traction from that since. I don't know if that's still kicking around. We first heard Last of Us 2, but then they come out not too long after and say, you know what, we misread that rumor. It's not Last of Us 2. It could be Fallout. So between those two.
They're not going to do both of those.
Right, exactly. They're not going to do both. Which would you rather see out of those two, though, if we were to get those?
I would rather not see either one of them, but I will take Fallout because it'll be based on the game, just like they did with Last of Us. Because they're not going to pay the money to have a Walton Goggins life cast and the other actors that are in the show. That's going to cost way too much. But Fallout has some scary elements. The game for sure. I think that would be interesting. And it would give us that alternate, like 1950s, 60s.
But so that would be cool.
So that I could take. So yeah, if they did it right, I'd be interested in seeing it.
I agree with you 100%. Like I'd take Fallout, and just for the reason too that we got Last of Us a few years ago, and I wasn't really impressed with that one. That was actually one where I thought Hollywood done a better job than Orlando did.
I agree with that.
So I just not enough time has passed for me to say I want to see another Last of Us house.
Right.
So moving on, here's another rumor, and it's been a strong rumor throughout the season so far, which is Terrifier. Personally, now I enjoy the Terrifier movie, so this would be one that I would be interested to see. But if they did bring it, they better not skimp out on the gore because that's what makes it popular.
Right. Yeah.
And moving along, some of your favorites, I know. We got Blumhouse's Megan 2 or Five Nights at Freddy's. Those have been rumored. Not really sure which one we would get. I know personally you'd rather not have either. But they said, Adam, you got to take one. Which one are you picking?
That's a really hard question, because that's like, do you want to eat calamari or do you want to eat, like cow's tongue? Like, I don't really want to eat either one of those. But I'm going to say Five Nights at Freddy's with an upward inflection question mark, because at least with that you get different.
Right.
What are they, animatronic characters?
Right.
And Megan, you get the same. It's just Megan, and so the house would be. I can already pitch it to you right now. It would be Megan and Victim, and Megan and Victim, and Megan and Victim, and Megan and Victim. Yeah. That would be that house.
Yeah, like you. Honestly, I think if a push come to shove, I'd say Five Nights at Freddy's too, just for the same reason, because I can at least get a kick out of seeing Chuck E. Cheese.
5 or 6 different animatronics that are different.
Right, I can
animals.
see like Chuck E. Cheese being possessed. Like I said, I can get a good kick out of that. Even if we got Megan, though, I enjoyed the movie for what it was. So I mean, but I'm like you, I think it'd be a little bit repetitive because you're just going to be chased. Which I mean, that's how it'd be with Terrifier.
I don't like either one of those movies, to go on the record, but okay.
Yeah. But last but not least, and this is one that's been gaining a lot of traction too, is not since we've seen The Undertaker's house way back in the early days of HHN. There's a rumor that WWE is going to have a house.
Oh, man.
And the first rumors were that it was going to be based kind of around that Bray Wyatt family, but I mean, Bray sadly passed away a few years ago. So I'm not really sure if they do that, how far they would go into The Fiend or all like whatever his alter egos were.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's, I mean, number one, well, just personally, I don't want that because I'm not really into it. Mm-hmm. But number two, that's so niche. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're not going into horror movie niche. You're going into, I mean, everybody knows who Megan is. Everybody knows who Jason is, Freddy, right? Even people who don't watch horror know who Jason and Freddy are.
Right.
But how many people know exactly what WWE characters these are? I don't even know myself. Right. So, I mean, like, that's so niche. I hope they do it.
I will say this. If they can do it right, and it'll all depend on how they market it when they announce houses, if they do, in fact, go with this one.
Yeah.
That family is almost like what you would have seen with Triplets of Terror last year.
I did see that.
Yeah, with even a more hillbilly twist on it, like out in the backwoods and things like that. So, I mean, if they did do it right, I could be down for it. Just like I said, just have to wait and see if it does come to fruition. Like I said, I'm not going to sit there and say, because out of all the ones on the list, it definitely wouldn't be my least favorite of the ones list there. But yeah, they'd have to come out. Part of the reason I can see why that one's getting traction is WWE and Comcast, which is Universal's owned by Comcast, have that relationship now where most of their stuff other than Raw is on Peacock.
Right.
So it would make a lot of sense, but we'll continue to wait and see how things progress. So
for me, that, to quote the late great Don Rickles, would be about as much fun as going down to the grocery store and watching the apples go bad. But that's just that's from me. But
so let us know, friends and fiends, like all the ones that we've listed here as far as rumored houses goes. Would you like to see all of them? Is there only certain ones you like to see? Is there some like that you absolutely will not stand? Let that aggression stand, man.
That's right.
That you will not see.
The Lebowski.
Let us know in the comments.
That's right. And as always, remember, stay spooky.
You made it to the end of the video, friends and fiends. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel.